Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about Employee Compensation Act and an introduction towards it. So, what is Employee Compensation Act? So, it is a central legislature in 1923. That came in 1923, but it came into force on 1st of July 1924. The latest amendment was in 2009, where it changed the short title. So before 2009 amendment, it was called the Workmen's Compensation Act. By 2009 amendment, the short title was changed to Employee Compensation Act. And this act was the first step to social security of workmen. And what did it aim at? To make provisions for the payment of compensation by certain class of employers to their employees for injury by accident. Now, why was there a necessity to make provisions for the payment of compensation? So, what it did that during that time, there was this doctrine of common employment and assumed risk, where the employer could evade from the liability to pay compensation, saying that it is their mistake or the mistake of a third person and the employer is not liable to pay compensation. So, this act overrides the doctrine of common employment as well as assumed risk. So it also, like we discussed, that it includes injury by accident. So it is not just accident, but it also includes the contracting of certain diseases in certain cases. That is, these diseases come as a result of the employment, of the nature of the work or the environment of the work. Such diseases, which is referred to as occupational diseases. Now, here what we can see is that here the liability is not based on who is right or who is wrong, but the liability to pay compensation is based on how much the earning capacity of the person is reduced, to what extent it is reduced, the type of injury. So this actually enables, this is a way of providing a relief or a welfare measure that was included in the act for the employee. Now, this also prescribed for no fault liability for no fault of the employer. So this is what a summary of what this Employee Compensation Act is about. Now, some of the important case laws that came here is Works Manager Carriage and Wagon Shop, Eastern India Railway versus Mahabir. So this is a 1954 case. Here, the total amount of compensation entitled is fixed by the Act, and that is, in this case, the court held total amount of the compensation entitled is fixed by the Act and not on the suffering cost or expense incurred. So we discussed that this act came as a welfare measure for the employee, and the compensation is dependent upon the loss of earning capacity as well as the injury. But that, to what extent the compensation is paid, the degree of the injury by the accident, all is determined by the act and not based on the suffering cost or expenses incurred. So it is dependent on the difference between the wage earning capacity before and after the accident. So that was held in Works Manager Carriage and Wagon Shop, East India Railway versus Mahabir. That is a 1954 case. And later came R.B. Mondra and Company versus Bhanwari. In this case, the court held compensation as a measure of relief and social security is brought under this act. So it enables the employee to claim compensation irrespective of his negligence. So earlier we discussed that this act overrides the doctrines of common employment and assumed risk. So that was reiterated and re-established in this case, that is R.B. Mondra and Company versus Bhanwari. And then we have Karnam versus Rajasthan Karnam versus Rajasthan State Electricity Board. So in this case, the court held that this is a beneficial legislation and therefore it shall be given a liberal construction. It shall not be a literal or strict construction, but given a liberal construction while interpreting. Then there is Lipton India Limited versus Gokul Chandra Mondal. In this case, the court held that welfare legislation is maybe capable of multiple interpretation. When such a scenario arises, then the most favorable interpretation for the employee shall be taken. So that is with Employee Compensation Act introduction. I hope this helps, and if you like my video, please click the like button, and if you have not followed me yet, please do subscribe to my channel to support me, and that will also make me happy. So thank you for your time and have a nice day. Bye.